Yo, what is up, guys? So we have a bunch of new Yu-Gi-Oh cards to check out, and the first two are just going to be announcements that they are coming out with cards, but this is going to be the next month's jump promo for the OCG. It's actually a Shinobi Necro, which is a zombie tuner, which helps with synchro summoning, because, well, it's a tuner. Kind of cool. I'm not sure if it's going to be related to ninjas in any way. There's, in fact, only one Shinobi monster in the game. I'm not counting the Shinobirds, but there is actually one Shinobi's Vengeful Shinobi. It's probably just irrelevant. I don't know if this is going to be like a new archetype, or if it's just going to be generic zombie support, because we are getting a new structure deck that is all about, well, zombies. But anyways, actually, on the next card, this is just an announcement. They are going to be making a VENDREAD Link monster, so that's kind of cool. It's the VENDREAD Savior, so it's a new Link to Zombie Link effect monster with the Link zones being bottom left and bottom right. We don't know the effect of it yet, but it's just kind of an announcement, and sometimes with these announcements, it's good to pick up some of these cards while they are cheap, because if it's very good and you buy a lot of these cards that are like $1 to $2, you could potentially profit quite a bit. But it all depends on if the card's actually good or not. But anyways, we're taking a look, like I said, at a few new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is a new Mayakashi, which is a newer archetype. In fact, we actually covered them yesterday. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video, there's a ton of other new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm going to go ahead and also link that down below in the pinned comment. But anyway, so this is the Mayakashi, the winged Mayakashi Hadron. So it's a level 1 zombie effect monster, 600 attack, 400 defense points. It says you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect saying if this card is normal or specialed, you can special summon one Mayakashi monster from your deck except for itself. The second effect says you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck except for Mayakashi monsters. Wow. That's an insane effect because it doesn't have any level restrictions. But, I mean, most of the Mayakashis already have this restriction anyway, so it's not that big of a deal if you're playing that deck. But that's an insane effect. Also, you get this effect with normal special, so that could mean a lot of other cards, like you can search out Where Art Thou, you can one for one. There's a lot of options with this card, so I definitely think it has some potential. Well, this card's definitely good, but it all depends on the other archetype. Now, this new other set of cards is going to be a part of an archetype. This is the Nephthys. Here we got the Enlightened of Nephthys over here. And anyways, looks pretty good actually. I haven't checked out these artworks. I thought they were going to be fire just by looking at the pictures. But anyways, I'm just going to say Neph for short. But anyways, so it's level 2 Wind Spellcaster effect monster, 600 attack and 600 defense. That's the one over here on the left. And anyways, it says you can use each effect among the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. So the first effect says you can target a level 4 or lower Neph monster in your graveyard, except for Enlighten of Neph. Destroy one card in your hand, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster in defense position, but it has its effects negated. Okay. A little bit unfortunate, negates the effects. But anyways, second effect says once per turn during your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Okay, it almost reminds me of the Fire Kings, the Garunix, right? I don't know if that reminds you guys of it, but it is technically a win. Anyways, next up we have the Prayer of Neph, and this is the card on the right with 0 attack, 2,000 defense points, level 2 win. And that says you can use each effect amongst the first and second effects with this card name only once per turn. The first effect being, during your main phase, you can destroy one card in your hand. If you do, add one Neph monster from your deck to your hand except for itself. That's actually really good. Like I said, that supports Fire Kings. And in fact, you can run this in like dinosaurs. I remember when True King dinosaurs were really popular, but this can definitely be really, really advantageous. And then the second effect says, once per turn your next time I face, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to graveyard, you could add a Neph spell or trap card from your deck. Alright, so we got searchability. That's really good. Next up, we have the Speaker of the Neph, which is going to be the card on the left. 300 attack, 1,200 defense points. They're all level 2. Interesting. Anyways, you can only use these first and second effects once per turn. Then first effect says you can target one Neph card in your graveyard except for itself. Destroy one card in your hand if you add the targeted card to your hand. Second effect says once per turn during your next standby phase after this card was destroyed by a card effect, you can add one Neph card from your graveyard to your hand except for itself. Okay, so this is like the Graveyard Searcher. Okay. Next up, oh, this is a Ritual? Okay, I was not actually expecting that. Anyways, next up, this is the Protector of Neph, which is the card on the right. 1,400 attack, 200 defense points. It says, first second effects only once per turn. First effect says, during your main phase, you can destroy a card. If you do, special summon level 4 lower Neph monster from your hand, except for itself. The second effect says, once per turn during your next standby phase after this card was destroyed, you can destroy one Neph monster in your deck except for itself. Okay. I like that you can destroy any card. It doesn't have to specifically be a like a Neph card. So like I said, you can run it in a lot of different things, which is definitely cool. Like I said, dinosaurs could be one. You can run it in Fire Kings. Anyways, next up we're into, I think this is supposed to be their boss monsters. Well, I mean, the one on the left looks like the only 1200 attack. Probably not a boss monster. Level 2 Ritual? What? Avatar of Neph. So, level 2 Wind Spellcaster Ritual Monster, 1200 attack, 1200 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Neph. You can only use each effect on the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. If this card is ritual summoned, you can just special summon one Neph monster from your deck. Wow, that's really good. Also, this card will be destroyed during this turn's end phase. If this card is in your graveyard, you can destroy one Neph card in your hand, and if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. Oh, okay, so it's just kind of like fodder at that point. Okay, next up we have Sacred Blue Phoenix of the Neph, which is, I want to say, this new boss monster for their archetype. Anyways, so level 8 Fire Wing Beast Ritual Effect Monster, 3000 attack with 1000 defense points, says you can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Neph, which is the same card used to summon the previous card. It says you can only use first effects with this card's name only once per turn. First effect saying, during your main phase, you can activate this effect. Destroy any number of Nephthys cards that are in your hand or face up on your field, then destroy an equal number of monsters your opponent controls. Then, as a second effect, once per turn, during your next standby phase after this card was destroyed by battle by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can just special summon this card. Wow, it's basically just Garunix all over again? I don't know, like, it's a little bit better because you can, like, splash it into other things. It doesn't have the restrictions where you can only special summon, like, Neph cards or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, we still have to, wait, they got a Link monster to do everything getting a Link monster. How many? We got 4 more cards for this archetype? Sweet. Alright, so this is Neph of the Palladium deity. I wonder if wait, this is part of the Palladium? Oh, Palladions are like completely different. Never mind. Anyways, this is the Link monster over here. It's 1200 attack, Link zones bottom and bottom right. Link 2, 1200 attack. And materials are 2 Neph monsters. You can only use the first effect with this card's name only once per turn. So the first effect says, during your main phase, if you control this Link Summon card, you can activate one of these effects. So as the first effect, you can add a level 8 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then you could add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. The second effect says, destroy a Neph monster that this card points to, and if you do special summon from your graveyard one Neph monster whose original name is different from the destroyed monsters, but the summoned monster has its effects negate. Oh, dang, that's kind of unfortunate. But if it is destroyed, sent to the graveyard, it can proc their effects anyway, so that's really not that relevant. They don't really stun. I mean, yeah, when it comes back, it's kind of cool, but I mean, it does have the effect to pop cards, but the Garunix just pops everything when it comes back anyways. I don't know. It does have more attack. I think Garunix was 27, if I remember correctly. Let me, Garunix. Yeah, 2700. I actually played this deck for a little bit. It was an okay deck. It kind of got boring fast, but because it's a very linear deck, but I don't know if you're going to be able to mix them in with that. Anyways, we have Rebirth of the Neph, which is the ritual spell card. So this card can be used to ritual summon any Neph ritual monster. Ritual summon one Neph monster using monsters from your hand by trading monsters from your hand and or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the monster you ritual summon. Then if you attributed Avatar of Neph or a Sacred Blue Phoenix of Neph for this ritual summon, you can destroy one card on the field. Oh. And it gives you an extra, like, pop. I don't know how I feel about that. Because the card can already, like, get rid of cards to pop anyways, right? Which will proc all of their effects in the first place. Anyways, next up we got Hope of Neph. Normal spell card says you can activate this a card with this card name only once per turn. Target 2 cards on the field, 1 Neph card you control, 1 card opponent controls, and destroy them. Okay. Next up we have Awakening of the Neph. Continuous trap card that says you can use the second effect with this card's name only once per turn. The first effect saying Neph monsters you control gain 300 attack. The second effect says if this face-up card, the spawn trap zone is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Neph monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, but it's destroyed during the end phase, well, which doesn't really matter. That's actually pretty good. However, how I feel about this archetype is it's very similar to like the Garunix. It reminds me of it, but like, I don't know how I feel if it's going to be actually good, because more than likely their monster is going to prevent you from like doing things in the first place. And if you're going to be able to pop their monster via the effect of like the ritual monster, right? Or any of the cards that you're using throughout the entirety of destroying to proc their effects to maybe destroy their card, at the end of the day, Garunix will pretty much get the job done. Like, it's not that good. At least that's the way I see it. But as a splashable card, I think it's like, or like some of the cards in the archetype, it can be much better. But I don't know, that's the way I see it. Let me know, guys, if you guys think the Nephthys are going to be any good. Like I said, I just feel like it just reminds me too much of Runix, which isn't really, like, it didn't really become meta as far as I remember. Next up, then, we do have an FA Link Monster, and then these are other cards that are announced for the Extra Pack, which is also where we are getting the VENDREAD Link Monster. 2018 this is an OCG thing, but whatever. Anyways, FA Shining Star, Formula Athlete Shining Star GT. So attack is 0. The links are on the bottom left, bottom right, and it's a 2-machine monster. It says you can only activate the 4th effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect saying this card gains attack equal to the total level of all FA monsters that this card points to times 300. Okay, and then neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. If the effect of an FA spell trap card is activated, place 1 athlete counter on this card. When the effect of a monster you're putting is activated as a quick effect, you can remove 1 athlete counter from this card and negate the activation if you destroy the card. Oh. So you get all these counters on it, but like you can only negate one thing. I don't know. I'm looking at the zombies and thinking that's a much easier card to summon plus, yeah, as a quick effect, and everything becomes zombies. So a little bit better. Also, we got another card that I almost wanted to make a separate video for this card because it has a lot of people are talking about it. But anyways, Pinpoint Landing. It's a new card, Pinpoint Landing. It says if exactly 1 monster spell summon from your hand to the field, you can draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Pinpoint Landing once per turn, and then during your end phase, if you have not drawn a card by this effect, send it to the graveyard. So pretty much in any deck that's going to be special summoning from that hand, which is, I'd say, about half the decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly. I mean, you get that initial draw. Yeah, you can, lose it to Twin Twisters, and maybe if you just drew another, like, monster card that you'd be able to utilize, it could be better, and especially if you get your summons negated. However, I feel like it replenishes itself really fast. I mean, basically, as soon as you activate it, you're cycling through cards. That's a deck-thinning card. Some people are saying it's the next upstart, right? That's why I was going to make a separate video on it, which I might actually do, to have like an open discussion on this card itself, but, I mean, you could argue since Upstarts 1, it's like the same thing, right? Obviously, if you have multiple Upstarts, you can activate multiple, but if you look at it this way, that's still like just thinning your deck by 1, in most decks, right? And at that point, if it survives, you're getting +1s every single turn, depending on the deck you're playing. But again, if you get Warning, well, you're not going to draw that card. It would be much better if you just drew another card. I still don't think the card is bad. Don't know if I would consider it like an upstart staple in every deck, but I mean, it can be used in a lot of decks, let's be honest here. But that's my thought on Pinpoint Landing. I think it's pretty good, but like I said, maybe we'll make a separate discussion video on it, because it's definitely a card that is on a lot of people's mind right now. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the vid, and enjoyed seeing all those new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. If you guys got any sweet replays of any of the stuff we talked about, in fact, some of these cards might not be added at the moment of me making this video, but maybe tomorrow or later tonight, they'll be added. If you guys want to send in a replay, feel free to go ahead and do so. I'm actually interested in really checking out what people do with the Nephthys cards, because again, I think they're much better in other archetypes. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the vid. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to be always updated with the latest new Yu-Gi-Oh cards when they get announced. And I'm signing out.